What's up, everybody? It's the Best Spot Kid Smooth, and man, I know it's been a while since I've done a traditional video. Man, I've been taking a break, a mental break. You guys know if you follow me on Twitter or watch Planet Xbox, you know my thoughts on how this E3 has went, my reactions, my opinion. So, I just want to talk a little bit about Xbox and the future of its, first party studios and their Project Scarlet. If you guys know, which is shockingly, I haven't talked much about Scarlet, what it's going to do, how powerful it is. I haven't talked much about PlayStation 5 or any of that jazz or anything pretty much 2020 related because honestly, it really doesn't matter. Not right now, just so far. What I wanted to take the time to do is kind of really reflect on this generation as an Xbox fan, console fan of the Xbox One, been there since day one, and kind of just spent majority of my gaming hours on the platform. Sure, if I played PlayStation, played all their exclusive content. Obviously, I have the Switch, and obviously I dabble into PC every now and then. It's not my preferred place to play games, but I do just in case in any event that I'm without a gaming machine, I know I have like a backup option. So I want to talk about, obviously Xbox. The biggest knock on the Xbox this generation was their lack of content, lack of quality exclusive content. Sure, they've dropped games throughout the course of the generation that I've thoroughly enjoyed when you consider games like Dead Rising 3, Rise in the Rome, Sunset Overdrive. I loved Halo 5. I love Gears 4. Forza Horizons is always great. Cuphead was pretty awesome. So I mean, they had some standouts. However, when you compare that to their biggest competitors, and that's Nintendo and Sony, especially Sony, PlayStation has had bigger hits, more industry attention catching hits. The God of Wars, The Last of Us, the Uncharted's. A lot of their games had the Spider-Man's had like heavy attention. They scored well. They sold well. They were very immersive. They were really good quality titles. They've had many games, get over that 88% mark, falling in the 90s and whatnot. So and Xbox kind of lacked that this season. Xbox have only really had two games that achieved that 90 mark, and they were both from the same developer in the same genre, and that was the Forza Horizon series. And that's no knock against them. A lot of people write those games off because they're a genre title. It's racing. They don't give it the credit it's due. So Microsoft, they're Halos of this generation, which there's only been one, unfortunately. They're Gears of the generation. They didn't achieve the heights that they used to in the 360 heyday. And you think about Xbox library, there's been too many times where we had droughts. 2018 was better than 2017, but still a drought because the content wasn't really there. 2017 was piss poor. For a while in this generation, Microsoft kind of carried the Xbox One with three studios, three and a half, four studios that they had to produce content, and which led to not much content at all. And for Microsoft to take next generation seriously, there's things that they can and cannot do. Right now, as of today, 2019, Microsoft has 14 studios, Xbox Game Studios. There's 14 of them. And the thing about this studio, a lot of them their teams are big enough or talented enough to have multiple projects. You think of studios like Obsidian. They have two projects currently in the works. Their team is a decent size where they have that creative freedom. They kind of just do what they want. You have Ninja Theory, where they've always operated under a small studio, but there's small pockets of teams working on multiple different projects. You have Playground Games, which have two major studios. You can count them as two studios. One working on obviously the Horizon series, and then one working on the rumored Fable game. And that team's already plenty big. You got the Initiative, who's stacked with all-star talent. You got the Minecraft team. You got the Compulsion. They added Age of Empires and Double Fine. So you have talent. You have the studios now. And now there should be really no excuse going into next generation. Like there should be no repeat. They're going to have a beast console. Both the consoles for next generation are going to be able to, do like some damage as far as performance. So, I mean, expect 60 frames per second, expect 4K, expect some immersive innovations from next generation. And with all these studios, you should expect games. Now, my only concern with Xbox is they don't squander that. I mean, I'm happy that Microsoft bought all these studios. I'm not happy that they're not as aggressive as they once were. I feel like the days of the OG Xbox, the days of the Xbox 360, the people over at Microsoft and Xbox Game Studios were very aggressive. So Microsoft have purchased studios, they purchased games that these studios were already working on. And for example, the NXiles, I know their game was crowdfunded, so okay, put those games wherever they were promised to go, PlayStation, PC, whatever. They have Minecraft. Minecraft is everywhere, but it look like every Minecraft game that comes out is going to be a multi-platform. Not really a big fan of that strategy. They have there's another whatever. I feel like the worst thing I guess Microsoft can do as to the core Xbox fan, which is the console guys, the guys that choose Xbox over PlayStation. I feel like the worst thing they can do is they gather all these studios, get all this talent, and literally have this talent distribute games on every platform. I'm not against games going to PC. Especially if it's cross-play, cross-save, that you buy one title and it just happens to work. I'm not against streaming. It's an option, whatever. I don't care. Even second-party games, second-party independent games going to the Switch, really don't care about that either. However, I don't want to see 343, The Initiative, Playground Games, Rare, Obsidian, The Coalition, Ninja Theory, even the game that everybody's hammering down, Bleeding Edge. None of these games should be appearing on a PlayStation platform, and that's one thing I worry about with Microsoft. I mean, like I said, when you talk about Xbox, you have a platform that can compete if you want it. It's a nicely made console. I don't think they've had one bad console. The people have their gripes with the Xbox One, but it did its job. The X is an awesome console, but I feel like you have all these studios, all this talent that can literally put out content for your platform, your branded gaming platform, and I feel like my fear is that Microsoft will not, take advantage of that. Sure, you want to be where everybody is. You want to bring content to everyone, but there's ways of doing that without, pretty much prostituting your IPs out to other consoles like PlayStation and Nintendo. PC, cell phone streaming. That's perfect. That's fine. Get yourself an Xbox account and join the ecosystem. If you don't have the console, fine. Do it that way via stream, via PC. Go ahead and do it that way. But I feel like putting this stuff out on the Switches and your PlayStations, I think it kind of defeats the purpose of Xbox's next generation plans. Why do you put out a platform? Now, I'm not saying that this is exactly what's going to happen, but the way that Microsoft move, they're not as aggressive. They're very friendly. They're very liberal about things. They're very inclusive about things. So I don't put it past them to create these amazing IPs over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, and them not really pretty much crowning these IPs the home of Xbox. I feel like they will be lucrative and liberal with those decisions, and I'm not really a big fan of that. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm getting older, and by the time next generation comes around, I'm going to be 31. So it's at that point, my frame of mind, I probably really wouldn't care. But just looking back of how slowly playing on PlayStation 2 and GameCube, I own both those consoles for a reason. Playing on the Xbox 360, I own that console for a reason. More so for social purposes, and then Xbox One, because of my experience on 360, it was just a natural transition to the Xbox One, and it's going to be another natural transition to the next platform. But I look at those who aren't me. I think I'm a unique character. I look at those who, there's people that aren't going to buy into a PC. There's people that aren't going to buy in to streaming. But if you have your choice of a PlayStation and Xbox, and Microsoft are so liberal with their decisions and how they put out content, because I feel like the Xbox One suffered with lack of quality content. I feel like Project Scarlet, Project Scarlet, I feel like it's going to thrive in high quality content because they have some quality studios. But I feel like it will suffer. Their next platform, their next console, PC won't suffer, Game Pass won't suffer, streaming won't suffer, but I feel like their next core console will suffer if they continue to be liberal with these moves and kind of like take on this third party role. That's not the role I see Xbox in, because when you develop a platform, you have like the hardware that people buy into. You're giving consumers like a home to buy into. Like, people buy PlayStation for a reason, they buy Nintendos for a reason. Not everybody is this hey, if I want to explore Halo on PlayStation. No, people, you have to give your platform an identity. I know Xbox itself, the brand, has an identity, but you want to give your console an identity. And I don't care if that identity is shared among PC and streaming, if it's under the brand of Xbox. However, I don't want to see the brand of Xbox bleed over to the platform of PlayStation and the platform of Nintendo, because what it does is, it's not that that I care that people on a PlayStation, let's say, is playing, like, let's say Halo on a PlayStation console. It's not that bothers me. I feel like what it does is they cannibalize what the Xbox console can do, therefore making existence irrelevant. And I don't want the Xbox to cease to exist because it's my preferred platform. And I feel like the more stuff you take away from it, the less you produce for it, the more irrelevant it becomes. And that's something that I want to see go, because if Xbox goes, then it's just like, what do I have? Streaming, a Nintendo platform, and PlayStation and PC. And those aren't my ideal. PlayStation will obviously fall into its place and probably come to platform, but that's not what that's not really how I want to see gaming go. I don't know how. I know people are still feeling some type of way about Sega and whatnot and how they went. Microsoft is a rich company. They can back Xbox for many years and generation if they wanted to, but I feel like this route cannibalizes the existence of the Xbox, and they may be to a point where they don't need to produce them, even though they keep saying, hey, we care about consoles, we're going to put them out there. But if they are continuously to be this liberal with their moves, reality is going to hit them in the face and say, hey, you don't need it. We have a lot of subscribers, a lot of active users on all of these devices. We can finally do away with the platform, and that's my fare. I want to know you guys' thoughts. This is my video for today. Xbox is the best box, and I am the best bot until it decides not to exist no more. Peace.